president participated in a Fox News town hall last night, and surprise, surprise, we're getting a glimpse at how he might go after Joe Biden.
Team Rising is here. Will Juwando, he's a Democratic strategist, council member at large in Montgomery County, Maryland, and Inez Stepman, she's a senior policy analyst at the Independent Women's Forum. Two great friends of the show. How are you guys?
Great to see you both, guys.
Happy Friday.
So the president, he did a town hall. By the way, I like it when politicians do town halls. Voters have much better questions than most
So
voters.
much better questions than reporters. It's amazing.
So the president previewed a bit of what the Biden versus Trump race might look like. Let's take a listen.
I think that Biden has been damaged. Yeah, a lot of people. I saw a couple of statements, very strong statements by very respected people in your world, saying they aimed at Trump and they took Biden down. And really, that's what happened when you think, because you look at the son. Here's a guy, didn't have a job, was unfortunately, sadly, the military was a very sad experience for him. He goes out, he gets $3 million plus $183,000 a month to be a board member of a company that a lot of people said was corrupt.
There it is, Will. What do you think? It's coming. We're going to talk about burritos. I mean, I know.
Just a sample.
Yeah, that's
just
a
an
sample.
appetizer.
And the other thing is, he was on Sean Hannity's show, and he asked him, he said, will you talk about this? He goes, quote, I will talk about it all the time.
Right.
So that's what I love about Trump.
Yes, I will.
He'll tell you exactly what's on his mind.
And I will quote good people that have said, and other people, you know, a lot of smart people say, many people are saying.
Including me. I've said it.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just going to be, you're right, it was like an appetizer, a tasting, a dessert first kind of, you know, of what's coming. And it's really unfortunate. I mean, but the good thing is, I think, you know, the new and improved Joe is going to be ready for it.
New and improved?
What
version are you looking at?
As far as his, you know, someone gave him a shot of adrenaline or something. I mean, he's been fired up, in my view, having seen him.
Which part of, like, confusing his wife and his sister and forgetting the Declaration of Independence?
Look. That's what he's always done.
No, it's not. You know, it's not.
He swapped people out.
No.
Let's focus on Trump saying many people, and he's going to attack his son, attack his military service, which he dodged. Talk about the fact that he's got a job when his dad gave him $1 million. I think it's a good debate.
Haven't we gone through all that already? We litigated literally every single one of those things.
So I don't agree that was an attack on military service. He said it was a rough time. That's accurate. He was processed out for
drug use.
For drug use. That is was actually for Trump quite a tactful way of saying
it was.
Teaser.
Yeah. But no, I mean, look, this is like when the Republican Party, totally different reasons, but this is like when the Republican Party nominated Mitt Romney right after Obamacare passed, right? They nominated the one guy who wasn't able to talk about the fact that Obamacare was deeply unpopular because he had passed basically the same thing on the state level.
That's a good point.
Biden is the one Democrat who cannot talk about any of the things that led up to impeachment. He cannot talk about Ukraine. He can't talk about any of those things because his son and family is intimately involved in this whole ball of corruption. And I actually don't think that a lot of voters thought that the phone call was perfect. I think there was a lot of political hay to be made out of that. They went the wrong direction. They went in impeachment. And that's when the country turned off. But now that Joe Biden is running, he can't even use it as political fodder.
I think he actually is using it as political fodder. If you saw Joe Biden a couple of days ago, he's saying, hey, look, the reason that we got to impeachment is because Trump was attacking me and my son. He's exactly talking about it.
But here's the thing, though.
Well, you can say it doesn't work, but he's talking about it.
And here's the thing, and this is part of why I despair over the idea of a Biden versus Trump matchup. I mean, we litigated these issues. We had the impeachment over months, and Trump's approval rating only went up. So that's what's so troubling about the Biden approach. It really is like Hillary 2.0. Let's talk about, the children are watching and got to restore our values and civility, et cetera. When that was roundly rejected in 2016, and to the point of this clip, you know, Biden's hands aren't clean when it comes to corruption. Look, I'm not creating equivalence here, but people don't expect, they're not voting for Trump out of morality. Joe Biden's making an explicit morality play. And I don't think Democrats have done themselves any favor by treating him with kid gloves and not talking about any of this stuff. When it's not just Hunter, it's his brother. It's over many years where there was, lobbying gigs and seats on boards and all kinds of ways of cashing in. Yeah, it's standard in this town, but that's exactly what voters are disgusted with.
Yeah, but if they're not disgusted with the nepotism, I mean, the totally unqualified people that are in the White House making policy decisions.
Well, they are, but they're not going to vote for it.
I think that's a washout, is my point. People voted in 2016, and we won the House in a large way because of health care. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to have clear plans. You have the Supreme Court and Trump and others attacking Obamacare, and you're going to have a guy who passed Obamacare.
So let me
That's what voters are going to vote on.
This isn't going to be an election about health care if it's
agree.
Biden. I mean, he's not running on health care. That's not his campaign message.
No, he's talking about expanding it.
No,
but that's not central to what he's doing.
The central ethos of the Biden campaign is let's go back
let's
to the
restore
Obama
our democracy. Let's the soul of our nation.
But see, that didn't work in 2016. Go ahead.
Biden's central pitch is I was there.
Yes.
Right? It's let's go back to 2015. And I know I've said this before, but I don't think that that's a great pitch in this electorate. And there's a reason that we got Trump. The Biden mentality or how he sees the world is essentially, Trump is an aberration. There are no forces that led to Trump. He's just, really popular, really rich guy with a lot of name recognition, and that's why he won. He didn't connect with anything that was structurally wrong in the country for 3 decades, right? If that's the view that Democrats run with, I don't think that that's a successful pitch.
Let me put another piece into the conversation, because Trump revealed a real vulnerability for himself last night as well, talking again about cutting entitlements. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
When these trade deals kick in, and when the economy is the best economy we've ever had, it's nothing compared to what it's going to be when the trade deals kick in.
But if you don't cut something in entitlements, you'll never really deal with the debt.
We'll be cutting, but we're also going to have growth like you've never had before.
So
this isn't the first time that he's talked about this, and it's reflected in, the budget that he put forward. However, again, to kind of Inez's point about who's able to prosecute this case, you got all these clips out there of Joe Biden saying, we're going to cut entitlements, we're going to cut Social Security, I wanted to cut Social Security, I wanted to cut Medicare, and the very recent history of him and Barack Obama trying again and again and again to partner with the Republicans to cut Social Security. So he's not exactly well positioned to make that case either.
Well, look, when you have the type of career that Joe Biden has had for as long as he's had, being elected at 29 to the U.S. Senate, you're going to have a wide and varying record, the ups and downs of the political environment. So, of course, there's going to be fodder out there. But I think people are most focused on, hey, what are you trying to do right now? What does your budget say? Are you trying to take my Social Security and Medicare right now? And Trump just said we're going to cut entitlements. So I think he can attack
that back.
Well, he better.
The president. But one thing I will say,
it's like the third time you said it, though. It hasn't walked it back yet.
It's one of these seesaw things. He'll see somebody on Fox criticizing it. He'll be back tomorrow. So I mean, and as the real thing that I want to get at with is what Will is saying is that I don't think people are going to focus on policy. I think what all elections are now is, can I trust you to actually fight for the things that I want? And with Biden, with having that long record, I'm going to cover this. I've covered this in my radar, which is just about the decades of a career, about NAFTA, on the banks, on bankruptcy. I mean, these are all things. Even on criminal justice reform, Trump can run at Biden's left on criminal justice reform. And so I just feel like on all of these different things that Biden is making it so that he doesn't have the political fortitude in order to say I will positively fight for a Democratic agenda, and that makes it the wash of what you were talking about earlier.
Well, I think you put your finger on it when you talk about trust, right? I actually don't think this entitlement stuff is actually going to end up hurting Trump very much. It's kind of a Nixon goes to China sort of thing, right? I think people do trust at this point. Trump's voters trust that he's trying to deliver on his promises. And there is everybody who has actually looked at the budget sees that, these numbers were written when people had a lot more kids and they lived a lot fewer years after retirement. Right, and so it
depends on.
Let me just run out of money.
Push back on that. Depends on if you're college-educated, affluent person versus a working-class person, and
or a black person,
or a black person, and those two things intersect, obviously.
No, I disagree. This is
Look at life expectancy for non-college educated people in this country, and you find a very different story. But I want to get.
Regardless, there aren't enough workers paying into the system, right? This was the demographics of this program. We can talk about why all you want, but the demographics of this program are upside down, and it will run out of money eventually. And millennials know they're not getting this program.
And as the problem with that whole rationale is, first of all, it's a wealthy country. The idea that we can't afford Social Security, the most popular government program that we have, I think is absurd. No one ever asked about how we pay for the military. No one ever asked how we pay for these corporate tax cuts. But let's pause the Social Security debate for another day, which we will continue to have.
Tea parties coming out right now.
For you, Hillary Clinton lost for a lot of reasons, but some of them were, number one, she made the election about Donald Trump as an immoral actor. Joe Biden is doing that same thing. Trump was able to
Which
run
is a fact.
Yeah, but it was a fact last time. I mean, remember what we heard on the tape, and people still voted for this guy. So the whole Trump is an immoral actor thing. It's a loser politically. Ultimately, it's a loser politically.
Yeah.
In addition, Trump was able to run to her left on things like entitlements, on healthcare, on trade. And he's going to be able to do the same exact thing with Joe Biden. That's a concern.
Yeah, so I think you bring up a valid point. Couple differences. One, Hillary lost for a myriad of reasons. It's hard to even name. We'd have to be here all day to name all the reasons why she lost. We now know what we're getting with Trump. Trump was an unknown quality. He was like, he's going to shake things up. He's going to come in. Number two, so it's different. People have seen how he
stronger.
acts. Well, you could say that.
He's stronger. He's going to come in.
It wasn't stronger in 2016. Okay, when we took over the House and won all across the country. I'm sorry, 2018. Yeah, I wish it was 2016. But so that's number two.
He wasn't on the ballot.
Well, I think he was. Every incumbent president's on the ballot. But here's the other thing that's different, and why I think your point has some merit, and why Biden has to be concerned about it. The vice president pick in this race is going to be more important than it normally is, because you're going to have to send a signal to the people, if Biden wins, to Bernie Sanders supporters, to the left wing, to younger members in the party, that, hey, look, I'm still on this 4-year thing. Let me stabilize, and then you can get your champion. Then we can move forward. And that message, I think, is a message he's going to have to, which he knows he has to do. So that's why you're going to need a Stacey Abrams. You're going to need somebody that can signal that and give us a view of what's possible. And that, I think, will help on his left with that flanking issue that might happen.
Progressives don't see Stacey Abrams.
I don't think people vote on VPs, and I think the trust between the base and the establishment of the Democratic Party is fundamentally broken, and it's not going to be repaired with something as minor as a VP pick. They're not going to trust that they're going to move on after stabilization, and there are going to be a lot of people who are going to ask, is it worth it 4 more years for Trump if we can win the party first? And I just don't think that's a convincing pitch in terms of VP picks.
You're totally right. That's how people. Why should anybody trust anybody at this point? They're like, oh, you've been making me promises for 30 years, and then you've been screwing me the entire time.
Well,
we got to go. Sorry. We'll take a quick break.
We got more.
Right back after this.